This is YGTV and YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. Today, my team and I are collaborating to help Joe Ingersoll of Ingersoll Lighting. Let's do this. Welcome to YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. YG Workshop, presented by First Federal, is just like it sounds. I bring together a panel of experts who work together to help an entrepreneur that's growing their company. Let's meet the panel.
I'm Christine Specht. I'm the CEO of Cousin Subs, a fast casual restaurant chain. And as CEO, I provide the strategy and the vision for where we want to take the company into the future.
Hi, I'm Lori Highby, president and owner of Keystone Click. We're a strategic digital marketing agency helping our clients build brand awareness, generate leads, and nurture those opportunities online.
Hi, I'm Mervyn Byrd. I am a Vistage Chair. I run a CEO peer advisory group here in the greater Milwaukee area.
And today we are helping Joe Ingersoll of Ingersoll Lighting. Joe, welcome to YG Workshop today.
David, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Fantastic. So, Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about Ingersoll Lighting? How did you guys begin, and what sets you apart from other companies?
Absolutely. Well, Ingersoll Lighting began 6 years ago after a selling of about 6 other divisions of Ingersoll & Company, which was previously formed. And we transitioned to LED lighting, having seen the benefits that LED lighting can have of the financial impact of savings facilities and organizations can experience. It actually started in a local area at the Milwaukee Gaslight building. My dad was charged with the interest of converting their current neon lighting that they were using to light up the gaslight and transition it to RGB LED. In that moment, it was kind of the light turning on, you could say, in which he saw not only the performance and benefits of LED, but it converted that structure and just that light operating at a cost of $3,500 a month just to turn on that one light. And by simply putting in LED, it dropped it down to $35 a month.
Wow,
and so
that's amazing.
From that, we saw a significance of what benefit that can be gained at large for buildings that would like to convert their whole facilities. And so Ingersoll Lighting was formed at that moment by a prompting of what my dad recalls as a prompting from both my mom and the Lord in navigating direction forward to pursue after LED. And so since then, we've taken the step of partnering with companies nationwide to do a full oversight of conversion from non-LED to LED. And so with that, we have aligned ourselves. We are a small company in southeastern Wisconsin. We have about 9 employees, but in that we've sought to advance through partnerships. And so what the benefit of many of our customers that we're dealing with gain is the advancement and expansiveness of our partners. We have partners, national labor installers, we have national distributors, as well as national energy financing providers as well that can able to support customers who would like to gain the benefits of LED lights, even though in a time they may not have the capital allocated and available to it. So as a whole, that is who we are as Ingersoll, and that's where we've been growing since about 6 years ago.
Fantastic. So, Joe, you came here for a reason. Yes. You have a pressing question that's on your mind about your business.
Yes.
So let's hear it. What's your pressing question?
Absolutely. So we have 2 questions. To start with the first, our
get a bonus
first question.
one.
we get a bonus question today. So to start with the first, taking in the nature of our company, right? We seek to partner alongside and see the full conversion from non-LED to LED. That being said, we specialize in large area lighting. So that oftentimes brings to us larger opportunities, larger facilities, and our greatest benefit is to multi-site locations. And so, but what we're finding is that as our opportunities grow, so also does our sales cycle just continually increase and increase and increase. And unfortunately, there's a variety of issues that solves for us internally if there's gaps in between there. So our question to you guys is, what are some constructive methods, strategies, or approaches that could help reduce that sales cycle, yet still so that our customers can experience the full benefit of LED lighting sooner than they currently are?
Okay. And was was there two questions there?
Would you like the bonus question?
Yes, yeah, let's get that one on the table too right away. Yeah.
So the bonus question is then, so if that be simply the nature of our offering, at what point do you advise it wise for a company to start strategizing potential alternative offerings or supportive offerings that could have to fill the gaps, say a shorter sales or turnaround time that may be able to complement our larger offering?
We're just getting started. Let's take a quick break and come back for more with Joe from Ingersoll Lighting. This episode of YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank on YG TV, is sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems.
Welcome to First Federal Bank of Wisconsin. Here at the bank, we pride ourselves on providing the community bank difference. To us, it's more than a tagline, it's how we serve our customers and support our communities. When you work with us, you can expect quick local decision making, a great customer experience, and a significant community commitment. As experts in the products and services we provide, we are here to help you achieve your financial goals. Proudly serving the Milwaukee metropolitan area since 1922, we look forward to serving you and showing you what the community bank difference is all about.
Circle Electric is a 35-year commercial, industrial, and healthcare electrical contractor with engineers and designers on staff, backed by the most technical and well-trained master and journeyman electricians. Whether it's an equipment move, new building, or commercial remodel, from pre-construction all the way through startup, primary power, branch power, or low voltage systems, they are here to support you. Our 24/7 on-call service department is here to meet your electrical needs for our industrial and healthcare customers. You always hear safety first. They are safety always. Circle Electric will maintain electrical reliability for business continuity.
For more than 80% of families, today's medical billing practices are confusing. At HPS, our goal is to improve the healthcare experience for the patient by making medical bill payments less stressful. In Wisconsin, that's all made possible by our comprehensive independent healthcare provider network. We simplify billing and lower costs for everyone involved in healthcare and offer various ways for individuals to pay without breaking the bank.
Fantastic. So just to summarize, you guys have your consulting business.
Yep.
And obviously you sell to larger companies, and it's a long sales cycle a lot of times, and you're looking to maybe reduce or streamline that sales cycle. And then you're also looking for maybe opportunities to fill in the gaps in your production schedule and things like that. So that, did I hit it pretty much right?
Yes, you hit that right on the head. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're gonna get to your question in just a moment. But first, I know our panel here is itching to learn a little bit more about your business, and I'm sure they have a few questions for you as well. So who would like to start? Who has a question for Joe about his business?
I've got one. You talked about the sales cycle is the big challenge right now. And I'm really curious, what is it that makes people actually sign on the dotted line? Is there any theme or consistency that converts them?
Yeah, one of the themes, typically, depending on when we meet the customer, if they have capital allocated for a project, if they don't, it's usually, well, let's just tie this into our next budget year. And so it's something that's planned out in that case. There's not often times that those people are calling us, looking for us. We're showing them the benefit. So it seems to be once the funds are available to take on such a project, then they move forward. And there's sometimes time between that. So.
Okay.
Joe, could you walk us through the sales cycle? You said it's a long gestation period. Yep. So kind of walk us through that. What does that look like from the time that your rep sits down with facility manager or owner or business owner or whatever to the time that they sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, that's great. So I'll start first in talking about kind of our leads, how we generate leads. So we're 99% referral based, and so we are strongly relational in the way that we gather leads. And so in that, once that relationship is made and we're introduced to a potential client or customer, we simply have a introductory meeting into where we basically go over the benefits of LED lights as would be understood. At that point, we schedule a time to walk through their facility. And we'll walk through their facility and do an on-site assessment. That typically happens, say, maybe within that next week. And so we'll go through and we'll count lights. It's really, you get a lot of interesting looks when you're walking through a facility, just staring at the ceiling the whole time. So then once that's gathered, we then go and start producing our quote. And where that happens is we'll put together an initial quote to present to the customer, but oftentimes the customer is coming back to us with revisions and saying, hey, maybe is there a better option in here? Or this is the environment we're looking to capture in this area. And so the refining of back and forth of what solution is fitting them best is what takes the greatest amount of time. Once that deal is closed, we then progress and we connect them with our labor partners. Otherwise, they connect us with their current labor providers, and we go forth with the install. And so it's that in-between period from first proposal to actually signing off where there's a lot of back and forth, which can create for long durations of times, which right now, to speak to it, we're averaging in about 6 to 12 months, if not more, before a job is then signed off on. So,
good question, Mervyn. Christine, do you have a question?
I do. So you talked about these strategic alliances that you have. Do they refer your business, or what percentage of your business comes from those relationships?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. Our labor provider is actually probably our number one referral source. And so they benefit, seeing the benefit that they gain off of the install and the labor, they promote the services that we provide to their clientele, which then we partner in supplying the lights. That's our number one source of referrals currently, and they're our largest partnership. In addition to that, our finance partner, they do full energy audits, and so they'll do full envelope. So everything from HVAC to solar to controls and the rest. And so they would involve us in the LED portions of those. But then we also are able to connect our clientele with them as well if a full envelope is desired. So.
Okay, great. So right now, do you have like a clearly defined sales process in your company? Like something where you could even present it to people as you're going through it?
Yeah, so in short, we say first the introduction, lighting audit, customized solution, oversee the install. And that's our step-by-step that we'll guide customers through.
Okay.
In our sales process. So.
Joe, what are they capturing at this introductory meeting? Are they capturing how much the budget is that they have, where those funds are coming from, whether it would be out of their own account or, focused on energy monies, or what? I guess I'm just trying to understand why the back and forth happens if we're getting all the information up front at the introductory meeting.
And I think that's the part where we sometimes are missing it is asking the question, okay, what sources of revenue or what sources of capital do you have available to you? And we've started to ask that question more because we produced a comprehensive solution that allows for a zero capital option to achieve the benefits of LED lights. And in that, they pay for themselves. So that was kind of our effort in opening the conversation, but still then it's not seeming to move forward. When it comes to budgets and actually creating the game plan of what it would cost to move forward with that project, that's not done until after the on-site assessment. And so that first meeting is simply saying, here's what LED can do for you from a general sense. Percentages of energy reduced, percentages of monthly cost reduced, et cetera.
Okay. Other questions?
Yeah.
You look like you got one.
I do. Joe, I'm curious, with your sales process, what percentage convert to the next stage from introductory call or conversation to on-site assessment, custom quote to closing?
So typically, all of ours transition into on-site assessment.
Okay.
Because we offer a free on-site assessment, and it takes us a couple hours to walk through a facility. Now that's changing, obviously due to the times with people that allow us in their facility. But after that point, I don't know if I necessarily have an exact number of what that can be, but we often at that point are able to propose on a large percentage of those on-site assessments. And from there, we seldom are told no. We're often more times told we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. So
let's big picture of the referrals that come in, how many convert to a sale?
I would say potentially around 20% at that point is the number that's floating in my mind.
Okay. Christine, I think you had a question.
Right, so you have this very long sales cycle because these sound like very large projects that are capital intensive and companies have to budget for that and plan for that. So you can kind of see that long sales cycle happening. So then have you thought about maybe going outside of this referral type strategy where you're getting your businesses through the strategic alliances and maybe going after projects that aren't as big, but that can fill the gaps during that long sales cycle? Do you have any kind of marketing or anything that would be not reliant upon referrals for smaller projects that could be helpful for cash flow and keeping that business a little bit more even throughout the year?
Yeah, again, a great question. And that's something that we've been trying to deal with. We're learning that it's that complementary part to where the big and the small need to support at the same time. Because what we're finding is at first we went solely to small opportunities, quick turnaround. But our gain on that was really low and our margins were very low. And so we could not sustain in that quick turnaround. And so we were looking at a value of time to each consultant. And we were saying, are those small jobs truly the greatest value of your time for us to gain the return to maintain our cash flow? And so we still, at some point, we still have pursued after that, but not as heavily. In regards to marketing, we do nothing online besides our website. We don't do any email marketing. We don't do social media or any of the rest. And so that plays a factor into that as well.
Yeah, and that kind of led into my question, which was, you had mentioned earlier when we were talking that you really don't do marketing, and you're sort of in charge, right, of the social media marketing in the company, right? Being the son of the owner, right? So I think that was one of your challenges, correct? Was that you think that might be something that you guys should do, but you're having trouble getting buy-in. Is that correct?
Yeah, because the buy-in, I believe the value is seen to some degree. It's whether or not is that where we want to put our investment in return in money right now. And I think that's the question that comes more often than not when I try to propose a new marketing strategy is, and I may admit as well, I don't know a whole lot about marketing. So the only reason I oversee it is because I'm the youngest in the office. Okay, yeah. So for some reason, us young people know all about social media and online marketing. So I admit it is a weakness of my own as well to know and put forth an effective strategy to produce potential leads.
Okay. Any other last questions?
Yeah, Joe, what would you say? What's your competitive advantage? Not giving away your secret sauce, but what's your competitive advantage over others that are in this space? I can think of a couple of companies right now, I'm not going to promote them, but that are in this same space. Why Ingersoll Lighting? Why do people go with you versus others?
Yeah. So for us, why people typically move forward with us is, I would say, on a large part, the level of relationship that we do end up building with the customers. Oftentimes when we go with customers, sometimes it does happen to where they actually just start sending us the competitive quotes and saying, hey, this is what we're seeing. How would you guys advise in relation to these? And so where the relationship built is out of the team, we're able to basically answer any LED question that comes our way. And we have manufacturers that can solve the issues from custom-made solutions to out-of-the-box solutions that you may find in a store or anywhere else. And so backed with our product warranties and our low failure rates in LED products, people typically will lean towards us. We also see it as a long-term partnership. And so where we find great value with customers is if they're going, say, well, Cousin Subs, right? You have store locations all over the US. If someone's interested in transitioning all their store locations into LED lights, we're able to facilitate all aspects of that, from rebates to install to the rest. And so that's where we truly shine. And we've done that with some big box stores, and which has been the most beneficial. So.
Okay. All right. So we had some good questions here. I think we've got a better understanding of your business, Joe. So your 2 questions, we're going to shift back to that now and give you guys some advice. So again, the first challenge is the long sales cycle. How do you maybe reduce that sales cycle down? And then how do you fill in the gaps in your production so that you guys are doing well financially, you've got enough business, you're keeping everybody busy? Pretty much, right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So who has some advice that they'd like to give for Joe? Who wants to start? Mervyn, you're ready to go.
I have a couple of cents worth of advice here. You have to align with your customer or client earlier than what you are. I don't know what that looks like in reality, but you have to align quicker. The reason why people are not buying is because you're out of alignment in the sales process, right? I mean, if you think of it as an act, if I get ahead of you, you're not going to buy. So you have to be in alignment there, and that will alleviate a lot of the back and forth. I mean, you're talking months and months of back and forth. Stop it. Get in alignment early on. I would say, gosh, that introductory meeting, yeah, you're introducing. When you're walking around looking up at the ceiling, that's the time to be getting in alignment with your client. I don't know if they're walking along with you, but this is the time to get in alignment and start to get an idea of what it is they're looking for and get that picture.
Absolutely.
My 2 cents.
Yeah, I would piggyback on that, actually. One of the things I kept thinking about is that you need to dequalify the referrals and really spend the time on those that are going to convert, because a 20% conversion rate, it's not terrible, but it's not amazing. And you really need to look at that sales funnel and figure out where can we get those numbers higher. So make sure you're putting the right kind of candidates in that funnel. The other thing I'd take a look at, especially since it looks like your quote needs to be tweaked a little bit, are you putting just one option in front of them, or are you giving them multiple options to choose from?
Typically, they'll be, depending on what we gain from the customer, right? They may want to see a side-by-side.
Yeah.
And so we'll put together comparative quotes of different solution types,
Sure.
or just simply one up front.
Yeah, I would say a good practice is to have a low, medium, and high, and start from there, and then it'll help you to zone in on that conversation earlier on. And also, marketing. You need to fill that sales funnel, and part of marketing supports closing the sale because you have established brand awareness. You're spending a lot of time in the sales process proving your credibility, where your marketing activities can already be doing that for you.
Good advice. Christine?
Right, just to piggyback, I think that, if you can raise that close rate to higher than something north of 20%, I think that would be beneficial. And, one way to do that is be more efficient and more focused on who you are quoting, from those referrals. But another way to do that also is through marketing and it sounds like you're a little bit limited if almost nearly all of your referrals or all of your business comes from referrals. So I think that if you expand that base a little bit and you have more lead flow because there's just greater awareness about your brand, you'll have more people flowing in. And even if the sales cycle is long because you choose to stick with larger, more profitable jobs that are large instead of smaller ones that maybe just aren't a value for your sales team, you'll have more of them to fill those gaps. But I do think that marketing opportunity is out there. And I don't know, maybe that's, where do people in your industry, how do they learn about LED lighting, right? Is it through trade shows, the industry PR, things like that? Social media, to a certain extent, I think you have an opportunity to think about, you're running this arm of the business, you're a young person, how would you like to be marketed to, right? Because there's all the people, opportunities out there have people like you in those businesses as well. So what gets your attention will likely get the attention of potential future customers.
Yeah, good point.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, I'll let you have another.
I probably should have asked this question. Those referrals you're getting, are you paying your folks for? That might be a good opportunity to teach them who you're looking for. If you can pay a nominal fee for those referrals, closed leads, that might be a good opportunity for you to teach those referral sources how to refer you what
the right
you
client.
want.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and incentivize them. That's great advice. So I'm going to jump back a little bit to something you said earlier, which was you're talking a little bit about the sales process and the sales cycle. I learned this because I sell homes. It's a very long process as well. And what I've learned is that you don't want to be a free consultant, right? That's your business, right? You're consulting and then you're selling the product. If you don't have control of your sales process, you become a free consultant. And nobody likes that, right? You don't want to be doing your work forever for free. So it's really important at the beginning of the meeting, the very first meeting is almost critical that you really set the rules of the game. And I've had to learn this the hard way in sales as well. And so one of the things that I do is I set really clear expectations with my client when I meet with them. And that this is our process, this is how we're going to do this, and this is kind of the general time frame. So you can kind of tell them what you're looking for, because I always think of sales like you're playing a board game with a 5-year-old. You ever played a board game with a 5-year-old?
It's been a while.
Okay. Well, what happens, right? You're playing the game, everything's going along fine, and then something bad happens. What do, right? They either try and break the rules, or they get up and they walk away, right? So you got to set really clear rules for them up front. This is how we do business, and you take control of it right away. Because if you can do that, you're going to shorten your sales cycle, you're going to increase your conversion rate, and then the other thing is if you have that really clear sales process that's well defined, now you can start to put tracking behind it. And you can say, I lose all my clients in step 2, or I seem to be losing a lot of clients in step 3 of the sales process. So what do I need to do in that step to improve that process? Like maybe I've got to send them some additional collateral. Maybe I've got to make that extra phone call. Maybe I got to send them a testimonial. Those are some pieces of advice that I would have for you on that.
Got it. No, thank you. Those are wonderful pieces of advice.
Any other piece of advice you guys have? I'd like to just maybe tie into marketing one last thing too. So one more thing that I thought of with marketing is, I know you're not really spending a lot in that space right now. So maybe, think of it this way, and I know you have to probably convince the powers that be at the company that maybe you do need to invest in a little bit of marketing. But take this example again. This is a real simple thing. If you gave me $5 and I gave you $25, would you do it again? Right? Who wouldn't, right? A lot of times that's marketing if it's done well. As you invest a small portion of what you make, typically, take maybe 1% to 3% of your revenue that you get in, and you can put that into marketing. You should be able to turn that into more dollars.
Oh, that's I like that percentage. Take a percentage off of each and pour it back in.
Yep, absolutely. Any last thoughts? No?
No, I think
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, so Joe, you've heard from the panel. We got some advice here. What do you think of the advice, and what are you going to take away from the knowledge that you've gained here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it gives me a lot to think about, I must admit. And I think the biggest thing for us, which, David, I appreciate what you had said, and take control of our sales cycle. Lay the expectation out, because oftentimes I think where we're finding ourselves is we are free consultants. And we will just work for as long as someone until they move in the direction of LED lights. And so taking control of our sales cycle and then potentially pouring into the marketing that produces the rest of the smaller deals would, in fact, feed that lead generation. So, yeah, I think that's one of our biggest things is defining, laying it out, and sticking to it. So
fantastic. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us here today on YG Workshop, and we wish you the best with your business.
And thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
You're very welcome.
Great. Good luck.
Thanks to Joe Ingersoll for sitting down on YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. YG Workshop is a collaborative environment designed to help businesses see their blind spots, consider new perspectives, and grow towards their goals. Do you know an entrepreneur that would like to come on the show? Have them visit younggunsmovement.com and apply. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode of YG TV. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes, here on set at Serendipity Labs. Thanks to our panel, Mervyn Byrd, Lori Highby, and Christine Specht, and our entrepreneur, Joe Ingersoll. See you next time.